Hi again. It is time for another nostalgia episode, and we are back with the three computers, the Latitude, the Inspiron, and the Vostro. Now, we had a ton of issues with the Vostro last time. After we did the upgrade to Windows 10 a couple episodes ago, I noticed that it had messed up the recovery partition on the hard drive, and it also messed up the system recovery options on Windows 7. I've tried everything to try and retrieve the recovery partition off the hard drive and or try to repair the Windows 7 options, but unfortunately neither of them worked. So this leads to my last resort, and that is to do a repair install or a clean install of the OS it came with, which is Windows 7 Professional. It's a generic copy though, but then afterward I'm going to put Dell DataSafe on it so then I can see if I can have it retrieve the recovery partition, but hopefully it won't mess it up, because that'd be bad. Now, as for the Inspiron, as I mentioned in the last episode, you can see it's running Windows 10. We installed that a while ago, but I have found, using that same archive pack that I found, which I burned a CD of Windows 7 Professional, I've also burned a CD of its factory OS, which is Windows 7 Home Premium, and I also managed to find its driver disk, which will install all the original software and drivers that it came with. Now, this is like that one thing I saw where after 10 days and you upgrade from 7 to 10, you can no longer go back to Windows 7. So this is like a last resort if you so choose. Speaking of which, tomorrow is the last day I have to decide whether or not I'll be restoring the Latitude back to Windows 7 or leave it on Windows 10. But you know what? I could easily create the recovery media for the Latitude and then reset it if I need to. So I've decided that I'm going to leave the Latitude on Windows 10. So now we are ready to start the process of reinstalling the original software on the Inspiron. So let's first shut it down, and now we'll turn it on, and we will press F12 to enter the boot menu. Now this copy of Windows 7 we're going to be installing is a generic copy. It's not the one from Dell, but this is a generic copy from Microsoft, and if it all goes well, it should be able to activate the software right away. So we'll see if that's the case. Anyway, over to the Vostro, we're going to see if we can do a repair install of Windows 7. So let's see if we can do that. So I'm going to put in the CD of Windows 7 Professional. I'm going to start the setup. I am absolutely sure. So let's see what happens. Over here, there is the first screen that we see. We're going to hit next. And actually on both of them, we're going to hit install now. And of course, these are the license terms for Windows 7 Home Premium. We're going to do a custom install. Now you can see that is Windows 10. That is on here. We're going to go ahead and delete the partition. And we'll delete system reserved. And Windows 10 is gone. So now we can hit next and start the installation. No, because Windows 7 does not have any updates. This is Service Pack 1. And let's see if we can do a direct upgrade. Can we do that? This is a factory install of Windows 7, so let's see if we can do an upgrade on top of it. Oh, okay, it looks like we can. Okay, it's ready to restart. Setup will continue after restarting your computer. There we go, back to the Vostro. You can see 20% complete with moving files, settings, and apps. Now, an upgrade is of course different from a clean install in the way you can cancel it. So at any time you could request, so at any time during the upgrade except for the transferring files. I think the transferring files is where you can't. Yeah, so I think it's up until transferring files and settings, you can cancel the upgrade and you can go back to your previous version. All right, so there we are. So again, as I said, we don't see the Dell thing, but we are going to install the drivers next. So of course, you know the drill. We type in the name, and then we type in the name of the PC. Again, we're not going to add a password. It should automatically activate. We're going to use the recommended settings. And of course, we're going to put it in Central Time. It is correct. However, I need to make sure that it actually is, because I want them all in sync. So 143.18. Now again, there are no drivers. So we're going to go ahead and take this out, because we are done with the OS CD. Now we're going to put in the driver disk, which will install all the drivers. All right, and now if we go into computer and properties, it does not have a product key attached, so it doesn't say automatic activation. It says 30 days to activate Windows. So we'll go into Explorer. There's the resource DVD. We'll open it up. Welcome, Dell System Owner. The Dell Drivers and Utilities Media, also known as Resource CD, is your source for device drivers, diagnostics, utilities, and other technical information that answers questions and resolve problems with your computer. You do not need this media to set up your computer. However, it is a valuable source of information. So we'll just hit next. All right, so as you can see, this is everything that's on here. So we're going to install the quick set. And it says click to extract the files. The Turbo Boost. This only has options for Windows 7 64 because it detects the operating system that's installed. So that is the Turbo Boost. The Wide-Eye application. Let's install that next. The Connexent Audio. And then the Realtek card reader. So the Intel Management Engine interface. The next would be Rapid Start. Alright, and then Rapid Storage. Yep, we're ready to install it. And now you can hear the Vostro restarting. You can hear the Vostro restarting so it can continue the repair. Yeah, that's the same error we got before that said that the thing was not compatible. We're only going to do the ones we can do. So let's move on to the USB 3.0 driver. The Rapid Start is ready to go, but then we have that error again. Success. Need to restart. We'll go ahead and install the Rapid Storage technology. Alright, then we are on Series 7 Family Mobile. And next is the communications drivers. And then next is this other network driver. There are still several other network drivers to install. Now, if you may remember from when we upgraded this to Windows 10, well, now if you may remember this when we did a direct upgrade, well, not a direct upgrade, but when we installed Windows 10 on this thing, and we went ahead and installed all the drivers, the network driver refused to work. So maybe it's because the network driver is not compatible with Windows 10, or it's something else. I'm not sure, but the thing can run Windows 10 just fine. So if it could run 10 just fine, then all the drivers should. But I mean, it is also true because Dell said that they are not supporting Windows 10 or above on this device. So that could mean some of the drivers may not work on Windows 10. And this is true when we tried it on the Vostro, so now what we're looking to do is we're going to try and undo the damage Windows 10 caused to it. So then I can create it to recovery media, then once again revert it to the factory installation, and then be done with it. Moving on, this is the Centrino. So this is the chipset. This is WiMAX. We're going to move on to that. Alright, let's move on to the wireless. And I suppose it's showing all the drivers for this device. While we're at it, I'm actually going to go ahead and change the resolution. It's a little too small. Let's do 1024 by 768. That's better. There we go. Now we can see more. But no, we are not going to restart. Okay, back to that resource CD. Either it's locked maximized or it started maximized. I suppose it's the way Dell set it up. Oh yeah, I remember when XP used to do that. I know that's what a lot of people enjoy, where you could draw with the windows on the screen when something was not responding. Here, I'll show you everything that's going on. So I'll show you everything that's going on around the system. Alright, the next driver is the Centrino Bluetooth. Let's try something a little higher than that. Okay, next we'll go ahead and cache the installer. And let's try bringing it up to how high this display can go. Oh, there we go. I see the picture is better already. Look at all the space. Look at all the space we got. And I know how cramped the icons are, but we're almost done. Alright, and now we move on to the Ethernet driver. One or more files were not successfully zipped. Error code 40. Then we have the Atlantic touchpad. This is the USB 3.0 controller. Here's the touchpad. And we can see the USB 3.0 hub driver is installed. Yep, the touchpad driver is doing its work. Alright, so that is done. No, we will not restart. So, of course, the display driver is going to give us all those fancy arrow effects that Windows 7 was praised for. The way Windows 7 looked, even just like years into the future, and even today, I think it is like one of the most beautiful designs of an operating system that I think Microsoft has ever created. Much better than Windows 10. In fact, there is one person that I do know of who, unbelievably enough, still uses Windows 7 as his main operating system, even though it's no longer supported by Microsoft. Which I find very interesting. I'm surprised he hasn't even fell for Windows 10 or 11 yet. So was the Vostro a good idea for Windows 10? Probably not, because it screwed up the recovery partition on the hard drive, and if we do it on the Inspiron, it might just end up leading to the same route. But you know what? I already have recovery media, so if I need to do any restoration on it, at some point down the road, then I can definitely do just that. So this thing installed RTM, so that means we're going to need to get Service Pack 1. I'm assuming that copy of Windows 7 Professional that I'm installing is also RTM. So before we progress any further with the Windows 10 upgrade, we will first need to install Service Pack 1. We cannot go from Windows 7 RTM directly to Windows 10. We need to first install Service Pack 1. Alright, and now finally the last of the drivers. This is the graphics. Now we will move on to the applications that originally came with this computer. So let's see our options. We only have Dell Quickset, the Turbo Boost, and the WiDi. Those are the only options we have. So yeah, this isn't really the factory installation, but so yeah, that's pretty much all we can do. As we can see, the Vostro is almost done with the repair. The Vostro is done. Well, not just yet, because it still has the rollback option. We have setup is preparing your computer for first use. Look at that. There's the factory background. That is awesome. But this installation will not last long, so just ask me later. That time is correct. And there we go. It looks like the in-place upgrade did not do anything. Okay, so I was actually looking at some examples of this problem that we're having. So what I believe may be the problem is that something on the hard drive must have been corrupted by the rollback procedure to Windows 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to try a few things. First, we're going to try startup repair, and if that fails, then in fact I'm not even going to see if that's going to fail, but I will also try running a check disk on the entire drive. That includes all partitions, system reserved, the C drive, the recovery partition, everything. There we go. Windows 7. So as I said, we're going to try startup repair first. So let's see if it finds any problems. Okay, so that did not work. So we're gonna run a check disk on the entire D drive. Just says D, and that's it. So we're gonna run /R/F. Windows cannot run disk checking on this volume because it's run protected. That's because we're doing it on the boot drive and not the main partition. Check disk cannot run. All open handles on this volume would then be invalid. Are you sure? Yes. So let's see if check disk will help us with our problem. Oh, here we go. Now it's starting to rewrite the entries. So yeah, there was a lot of corrupted data on this machine. Oh my gosh. So it's repairing the file record. Alright, so the Inspiron drivers are taking a while to load. Yeah, this disk check RF is also taking a while. So I'm just going to go ahead and restart the system. So let's see if that fixed our problem. I didn't let check disk run all the way, but no, that did not work. So yeah, check disk F did not work. So yeah, the only thing we can do now is reinstall Windows altogether because I don't think DataSafe is even going to detect the recovery partition on the hard drive. And I hit escape to exit. But okay, so yeah, that didn't work. So next time, If I think about it further, we may end up doing a clean installation of Windows 7 altogether and then see if we can obtain the recovery partition that way. Or we could see if it fixed the Delta as safe recovery, or we could try what we just did again. We could do another attempt of it, and this time let it run all the way through. So we'll see how far that goes if I so choose. But until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.